million-dollar regimens on the internet, as if it's a magical cure. That, however, is not the case. What most people don't discuss is the anti-routine. 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs do not even follow a schedule because the minute you limit yourself to a repetitive, rigorous program, you lose. Now, let's go through the anti-routine and the measures you must take to become a successful billionaire. Like Alex Hormozi, this comprises a mindset shift followed by cunning strategies to ensure that your routine is the most effective routine possible for you to achieve your goals.
Paradigm shift that happened in my life when I went from looking up bankruptcy lawyers to 18 months later taking home over $1 million a month when I was 27 years old.
In simple terms, anti-routine is the absence of a routine or daily repetitive motions. Many people approach Alex and ask him to share his regimen, according to Alex. They mistakenly believe that a magical routine is a key to becoming a billionaire. But they're asking the incorrect question, and here's why. It's not so much a routine as it is a lack of one that will help you succeed. So, the most fertile and productive routine that you can utilize to do anything is anti-routine. It necessitates a completely new paradigm shift, and the end result is absolutely remarkable.
The anti-routine as the most productive routine that is humanly possible for you to accomplish what you want.
According to Alex, the anti-routine impacted his life in a significant way since, instead of beginning to do things, he actually stopped doing them. Let's speak about how to adjust your thinking in order to include anti-routine into your life.
Priorities mean two things cannot be equally important.
Priorities imply that two things cannot be equally important at the same time. Alex explains that priorities indicate that two things cannot be equally important at the same time. Sorting out your priorities literally requires doing just that. One thing will always take precedence over the other because it is singularly necessary. You can't do two things at once, according to Alex, and consider them both vital. One must depart because you must prioritize one work that will be successful. Of course, this necessitates a total shift in thinking because we have a tendency to juggle our priorities, which is why it's so intellectually taxing. So, if you argue that the two activities you're doing are both significant, it implies that none is. That may appear to be paradoxical, but here's the problem. If they're both vital to you, then it suggests you can't tell your priorities apart. So make a note of it. You should not do two activities with varying degrees of priority. Choose one and say no to the rest. This brings us to the following point.
Most people cannot get shit done because they cannot say no.
The theme of Alex's lecture is saying no, which must be remembered throughout the video. Most people are unable to complete tasks because they are unable to say no. You must say no to many things for the duration of your road to success, or however long it takes to get there. It doesn't have to last forever, but a period of no in your life might provide unexpected outcomes and productivity. You will never get anything done for yourself if you continue to be a people pleaser, because you will constantly be too invested in other people. Learn to say no since you owe no one anything, and you are not obligated to do activities that take up your time, energy, and resources.
People text you and people email you. They actually have an implied ask within the communication from you. It's actually a take. And what that take says is that there's a request to reply. All right, they're asking you to do something, which is to reply to the message.
People send you text messages and emails. Within your speech, they have an inferred request. It is, in fact, a take. And that take indicates that there is a call for a response. They are requesting that you do something, which is to respond to the communication. Alex discusses the next item from a communication standpoint, and it is critical to pay attention to this point. So we're all familiar with emails, messages, phone conversations, and other forms of human contact. Alex argues that when individuals contact you through these methods, they are depriving you of your time and energy. They suggest that you devote some of your time to them, which could be better spent on other productive tasks. Rather than responding to all of them, here's an example from Alex. He claims that if 500,000 people text you about something, are you obligated to respond to all of them? It's impossible since doing so would leave you with no time to do anything else in your life. So hammer it home, you are not required to respond. If you want to become a millionaire, you just don't have the time. And it is at this point that Alex reveals that he just ceased responding to people during this anti-routine era. This may appear to be a serious infraction, but here's the issue. You are not required to respond to everyone. You are not required to react to everyone. The continual texting and back-and-forth discussions, as well as the one-time phone calls, are distracting and will take you away from your work.
I changed my phone number. I changed my phone number because all these people were always asking me to reply, and so there's the actual time of communication of the constant texting back and forth, all the interruptions.
I changed my phone number since everyone was continually calling and expecting me to respond. So there's the real communication time, the constant texting back and forth. All of Alex interrupts. The only thing you should do to avoid this issue is to change your phone number. This way, you won't be harassed by frequent texts and emails, and you may contact individuals whenever it's convenient for you. You'd be surprised how much time this frees up in your schedule and provides blank space in your calendar. This is just what a developing billionaire requires.
All of the events and masterminds and coaching programs mostly served other social, they were mostly for social needs. They were not because I had a problem that needed to be solved. And so I ended up going to a mastermind, getting what I needed, and then I didn't show up to that same mastermind for the next 18 months.
All of the events, masterminds, and coaching programs primarily served other social purposes. They were mostly for social purposes. They weren't because I wanted to address a problem, so I went to a mastermind, got what I needed, and then didn't show up to the same mastermind for the following 18 months. Alex claims that after attending a few events, such as masterminds and coaching programs, he gave up after 18 months. He attended the mastermind and obtained the information and expertise he required to boost his skills. So, once you've determined what needs to be done, begin to work on putting it into action. It's pointless to return to the same coaching events and masterminds because it's time to put your plan into action. Alex claims that once you've gathered all of the necessary knowledge, all you have to do is focus on the work at hand. You don't need any other information.
Taking meetings from 4 a.m. to noon every day. I worked for the first 8 hours completely uninterrupted. And
every day from 4 p.m. to noon, I work for the first 8 hours absolutely uninterrupted. Alex has another strategy that has helped him become a billionaire at the age of 27. For example, he designated a time when he would not accept any calls or meetings from anyone. As a result, he has a set time slot of 4 a.m. until 12 p.m. He worked tirelessly for the first 8 hours and did not appreciate being disturbed during this time. So this is a tactic that you must adopt if you want to have a good work streak. And it is how you exploit your time strategically and efficiently. You can't afford to squander time unless you have a superb team of 20 employees to manage the duties and run the company.
As I said no to bedtimes that were different on weekends versus weekdays. I stopped treating weekends different than I treated weekdays.
What if I said no to separate bedtimes on weekends versus weekdays? I no longer treated weekends any differently than I did weekdays. This includes saying no to different bedtimes on weekends versus weekdays. Alex claims that he did not adjust his sleeping schedule on weekends in order to keep his work hours from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. That implies you shouldn't change your bedtime on the spur of the moment. So you can see how this is yet another great example of saying no to yourself on weekends when you really want to sleep in. What other aspects of your life have you changed in terms of time management?
About your health. Well, during this period of time, I only worked out about twice a week, and that was because that was my minimum effective dose for working out.
What about your health? During this time, I just exercised out around twice a week because that was my minimal effective dose for working out. So, in order to be a successful billionaire, you must prioritize and compartmentalize a lot. During his anti-routine period, Alex says he only had a limited amount of time and energy to work out. You cannot make progress on numerous fronts at the same time without jeopardizing your job. Set a minimum effective dose to maintain your fitness because that isn't the priority at the moment. Work and improvement are so important to Alex that he works out only twice a week.
About foodstuffs. So for me, it was actually more productive for me to fast 1 or 2 days a week because then I could work and not be interrupted by the eating, preparation, thinking, cleaning of food.
So fasting 1 or 2 days a week was really more productive for me since it allowed me to work without being interrupted by the eating, preparation, and washing of meals. This also applies to food and eating habits. Alex describes how he used to fast twice a week in order to save time eating, preparing, and cleaning food 2 days a week. He'd only have coffee and bone broth. So this saves time, and it's also healthy because you can lose some fat with fasting. To summarize, during your anti-routine, use your time wisely when it comes to health and diet.
The next thing I did was I deleted all social media from my phone.
Now that we'd gotten that out of the way the following day, I deleted all social media apps from my phone. Alex describes how much time he saved by removing all social media apps from his phone. And this holds true for all of us. How much time do we waste on Instagram, Snapchat, and other social media platforms? It's quite a bit. So you can delete them from your phone, but retain them on your computer to post anything on occasion. You won't become addicted to the ghosts of them continually consuming and engaging online this way. You'll find that you have a lot more free time than you realize. To summarize, Alex Hormozi adds that it is not a hidden, miraculous technique that assists millionaires in winning. It is an out-of-the-ordinary shift in thinking and strategies that will help you on your path to success. First and foremost, determine what is most essential to you. Next, say no to everything that may jeopardize your entrepreneurial ambitions. You should also update your number, execute, and implement more. Set aside a period for work interruptions, and assign and erase social networking apps from your phone. You'll be winning in no time if you adopt an anti-routine mindset and techniques. Please let us know if you enjoyed the video and if you found the anti-routine useful by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next time.